So, the second season of Superman and Lois comes to a close with Waiting for Superman. No, they don't talk about education or anything like that. It's, of course, waiting for Superman to get his powers back, which he does, and it's pretty much how I thought they would do it. They do make mention of the Eradicator that Tal had used, but there's some weaknesses here about how they do this. And I don't know if it was rushed or what. There's some spectacular effects and whatnot in it, and in the scenes of the worlds merging and everything was pretty cool and interesting. And all in all, it's in keeping with the quality that this show has established. Although apparently there will be no mention of it at the Comic-Con in San Diego this year, along with, the Aquaman 2 movie. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, someone dropped a deuce on that one. And then, of course, The Flash, because of its star. Yeah. But apparently there will be no mention of the CW shows. Well, CW's in the middle of being sold off, even though they've mentioned there will be another season of The Flash. Yeah, I know why. So supposedly that's in the works. So maybe they'll just slap it onto HBO Max. I don't know. But hopefully Superman will continue. It's a good show, but I guess it was too little too late and being dragged down by the CW moniker. But apparently, and this was one of the ongoing questions, it's not the Arrowverse. There's a line where Sam Lane talks to Lois about his, state secrets of being in the DOD, that he's seen other worlds and all this sort of thing. Even though John Diggle had showed up, and he shows up in this one as well to set up a subplot for John Henry Irons, and talking about Mannheim, who was, the gang leader of Intergang and all that, and that leads to a connection to Darkseid and the New Gods and all this. I don't know if they will go into that for the show, but nevertheless, this gangster, and that apparently he murdered the John Henry Irons of this world. And so that's setting up a plot for there, and he's going to be shocked to see John Henry Irons. But he's not the same one and all that. But, And so there's some good action in it and stuff. There's some good scenes with John Henry Irons and his daughter. She goes to save him. And then they play a part in defeating Alley. Tal shows up because Superman doesn't need powers anymore, so he goes after they tell him, she drained my powers, what do you think you're going to do? I'm more aggressive than you. So he flies up there, blasts her with heat vision, but then she just starts sapping his powers, and he's like, oh yeah, I didn't think this through. So then Superboy has to fly up and save him, and he does. He knocks her out of the way and then quickly saves Tal, and there you go. So Uncle Tal is now pretty much a part of the family at this point. He doesn't have anything left. He finally took him forever to realize that his dad was a psychopathic asshole, and is dead anyway, so all there is this digital copy of him. So his only real family is Cal, and so they come together, and he helps him, and so finally, all looks lost as the worlds are merging and all kind of disasters is happening, because with the merging they keep phasing in and out, like airplanes crash into buildings, stuff like that. Whoever lives will make it, I guess. And then Allie's cult are all ready to merge, but it looks like they just got transported to the other world and there's mass confusion and stuff. Kyle disappears and he's on the Bizarro world, and then he zaps back, and Sarah and Lana, that they reunite with him and everything, and he's thinking, I got a shot back at Atlanta now, but Lana's like, yeah, I don't think so, we'll be amicable, but yeah, poor Kyle, huh? Probably because she's rekindling her feelings for Clark. That'll create a soap opera. And when I thought the plot line predictable that Sarah would be mad at Jordan, she's not. And it looks like they're back together. So, yeah, that's nice. And now, she knows the whole deal and everything. So we'll see how, if we, I'm assuming, I think they did announce there's a third season, but is there? I guess. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's too bad if it's not. But anyway, so how did Superman get his powers back? So he has to be thrown into the sun. That'll supercharge his cells. And it does. But the problem with this is that they should have had him in some kind of suit or something. Tal flies him to the sun to throw him in there. And they stop for a moment to have a conversation about it. Superman is virtually just an ordinary man at this point. He would not have survived the trip. He would not survive sitting there or floating there, and they would not be able to communicate with each other. I don't know if they just couldn't afford to put even just like a helmet over him or something. So, and they communicate with, radio or whatever. They just didn't do it. That's really bad. And then he throws him into the sun, which, again, but I guess because it activates his Kryptonian cells, that's how he's able to survive this. But he does. And then he starts glowing super duper. Even the seams of his costume glows, like the Flash, And so now he's not just Superman, he's Super Duper Man. So he goes about fixing everything. He confronts Allie again. And then immediately she starts trying to absorb the power. Well, it's too much power this time, and it blows her out. And then Superman is actually able to separate her. So she's back to being two different Alleys. And then he uses the old Christopher Reeve trick. He goes around and around and around the Earth. And somehow that splits the Earth's back. And then he lands in a triumphant land which... shatters the earth and everything, all this type of stuff. But anyway, forces it back to its rightful place, and the universes are now safe from merging. But the two Alleys are stuck on our Earth, or Superman's Earth anyway, and they're locked up under, I guess, XK beams, so that they can't do anything. And it ends with them holding hands. Well, yeah. Don't know if they'll be a recurring villain or not. Meanwhile, they did have the alternate Lois show up for a while, and she's just watching the family, and obviously like, oh, I wish I'd had this. My family could have been like this, or something like that, And I don't know if that just means she went back to the Bizarro world, or if she just quietly disappeared, and they could have her show up to cause problems later. Who knows? But all in all, pretty good. Like I said, there's slip-ups there, and hopefully it gets to continue. But maybe it's just too late for the CW brand of shows. I don't know. The Stargirl is still coming out because they got that season done, and that'll come along. We'll see how that goes. But the CW era is over, and I don't know what survives. I would have thought Superman would be a show to continue. And that might mean they put it on HBO Max. Maybe they'll get some extra boost and money to make it even more than that. I don't know. Because this is the only Superman you got at this point. With all the crazy things that the comics did, and then the replacing him with Supergirl for the movies, whatever the hell that is. I don't know. Supposedly there's some Superman scene, a teaser scene in the Black Adam movie, but it's just going to be some guy in the Superman suit with his head chopped off like it was for Shazam, or he's in shadow or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully it gets another season. And officially it does, but in this day and age, that could change. It's just kind of odd that it's not even going to be mentioned at the Comic Con. I mean, I guess all they're going to mention is Black Adam, apparently. But it's understandable because the other two movies are so scandal ridden. But the only scandal for CW is that it sucks, except for Superman. It seemed like they'd be all about, oh, look, we're going to get another Superman. And just parade that around and just shut up about all the other stuff. But I don't know, guess, well, anyway, we'll see. It was a good show, a good second season, in spite of, stumbles here and there, but they're minor and virtually not worth mentioning compared to the product elsewhere that they deliver. And so we'll see what happens.